Hi everyone, this is Dr. Pat. Proverbs 22 verse 6 tells us that we should train a child the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. As human beings, we have a tendency to want to train our children in the ways that we believe are correct. We want to train them in the practices and the values and the ideologies that we believe in. We want them to become mini us. Now, whether or not our lifestyles are good or bad, if we are thieves, we are killers, it doesn't matter. As long as we are proud of what it is that we do, of who we are, and we believe that it is right, and there's nothing wrong with it, we're going to want our children to be just like us. That is how we are. Whether or not we're a Christian, doesn't matter what we believe in. This is just how we are as human beings. This is how we think, typically as human beings. It is when our children get older and then they decide whether or not they want to embrace the values and the lifestyles that we have taught them, then they choose what it is or how they decide to become, whether or not we approve of it. But they have been given the foundation. As Christians, some of us give our children a lot of leeways. We allow them, even as young as 3 or 4 years old, to decide whether or not they want to go to church or they want to go to Sunday school, where they want to go. If it's something that we don't agree with, we still give them that option. Now, it begs the question as to where we are with our belief, with our faith. Is it something that we've really bought into? Have we totally embraced what our beliefs stand for? What the Word of God says? Because if it's something that we have totally bought in, we're not going to give our children at a young age those kinds of options. We are going to ensure that they walk in the way that we think is right. Even when our children become old enough now to make their own decisions, we have issues with the decisions they make, especially if the decisions that they make are not in keeping with what we think is right. So for those of us as Christian parents who are giving our children who are not old enough to be making these kind of decisions, we need to examine ourselves as to what is wrong within us that we are not facing, because we can't lie to God, right? That we are hiding from ourselves, that we don't believe in, why we would not want our children to walk in the ways of God. It cannot be because we think that we should allow the children to learn other ways, and then if they choose to embrace Christianity, they will. We live what we learn. That is how children are growing up. Whatever they are exposed to, that is what they understand. If when they're older, they decide that this is not what they want, now that is different. But if you read the word, Proverbs 22:6 says, when they are old, they will not depart from it. In between when we are teaching them and when they are young people, we have passed through that ourselves. They would perhaps go some other ways because they want to explore, but our thoughts, our beliefs, what we believe is right is already inculcated in them. It has already become a part of them, and so they will always use what they know, what they've been taught as a guide to determine what is right from wrong, because we will never ever be with them for everything. We won't know their thought process in everything, but one thing we can be sure of is that whatever they have been taught, that is what they are going to use to determine how they live. So if we're guilty of not teaching our children the right way according to our beliefs, we need to examine ourselves and to be honest with ourselves in finding out what it is that is wrong, what it is that we have a problem with, why we don't believe that our children should be taught the proper way of life so that they themselves will be blessed. We will talk again soon.